On a lovely Sunday afternoon. Me and my buddy Ryan Cunningham, who's in the other room at the house here, just got back from traveling over to Effingham to Accuracy Firearms and just kind of browsed around, see how the guys were doing. And it was an enjoyable time. And they were quite busy. They had their list of plaintiffs in the case that were free to conduct themselves without concern of Governor Pritzker's unconstitutional law. As you're all aware, we just yesterday, because I just was, people were just pleading with us to file another one. I'm like, okay. And so we agreed to do that. Hello, Eric. And so we did. So we had that set now initially at 4 o'clock. So 20 minutes from now, to where it was shut down. And, we had a lot of web traffic today, a lot of web traffic. There was a couple of those, whatever Ryan calls those fancy word, fishers or games trying to just bog the system down, right? There was no integrity issue or no security issue. We've got all that taken care of. Ryan, not we, I don't know a damn thing about it. But it was just they were trying to bog it down. So it was a little bit slow for a bit. So Ryan graciously agreed, you guys can thank him, to go from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So he's going to allow an extra 4 hours for people to sign up. Okay, he's going to do an extra 4 hours. So up until 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock p.m. sharp, it is going to be shut off. End of conversation. No exceptions asked. Okay, we're going to shut it down 100% certainty. And then you need you to understand this, because Ryan has spent way too much time today, you guys. He has done an excellent job of making this a streamlined process. Okay. So when you fill out the information, and you got to read what you're filling out so you kind of understand what's going on, and you click submit, you are going to get an email that says that your submission has been received. Let's call that confirmation number 1. You with me? You're going to get that. Sometime thereafter, and it'll say that in there, you're going to get a second email from us. Make sure you're looking in your spam. Make sure you're looking everywhere, because you are going to get a second email that says that you have to provide another signature for us. And then you're going to have to click on that and create that signature. And then you will get a second confirmation that says that was received, that was completed. So if you do not get those 2 confirmation emails, there's a problem someplace. Okay. Now we still have people that have gotten through the first step, that have received the request for the signature confirmation, and they've still not completed it. If by midnight tonight you have not finished that second step, you're not going to be included in this, because we cannot wait. It is not fair to the people who are actually diligently making sure that they get this stuff taken care of. So you got from 8 o'clock till midnight to make sure that both of those steps are completed. And I want us to be crystal clear that if it's not done, your name's not going to be in there, because we just cannot do it. It's not fair to anybody. This process, ladies and gentlemen, is not complicated. It's not complicated. Now, if the security is tight on our system, and so if you're doing it from a phone, sometimes you might have an issue. You might have to go to a computer. That's fine. You can get it taken care of. But if you get the first confirmation email, that means you've at least successfully gotten past that step. But you got to get past the second step. Don't get that first confirmation and then just go to sleep and forget about it, because you're going to be left out. Okay. I'm sorry, but I don't have any other choice. So wanted to make sure you understand that. You're going to have till 8 o'clock to click the registration part. After that, you're going to have till midnight to get the second part completed. And as long as you're watching, you'll be fine. Okay. Let me turn my phone off. I don't know who that is. So let me see. No, Michael, you're on the first one. Michael, you know, if you're on the first case, you don't need to be on the second case. It's not different, Mike. It's just people that weren't as diligent as you the first time around, brother. So don't worry about it. You're good. Okay. Let me see here. Somebody said, Tom, what are you talking about right now? Man, if you don't know what we're talking about right now, brother, I am not going to repeat it all over again. Sorry. Love you, but I can't do it. Yep, there's Lisa. Lisa, you're right. It took us a couple hours because once you submit the first part, Lisa, then we have to process and send you the second part. So there's a little bit of a short time frame there. So yeah, but you will get that second email from us. It's very important that they pay attention to that. Okay, let me see here. Yes, Gregory. Greg Escher says, will we get a second confirmation that we signed? You absolutely will get that second confirmation. Chris says, what kind of bourbon can I send you for helping? Brother, I like all kinds of bourbon. Woodford's my go-to. You know, as you're probably aware, Blanton's is kind of a, you know, something that we're all favorable to, but I like all bourbon. Surprise me with something you think I may never tried before, brother. I love it. Yeah, the second suit's only, again, we were doing the second suit. Is that Sandra? Yeah, it's $200 just like before. Will the two cases merge together at some point? Seth has. I don't know the answer to that, Seth. If I could predict what courts might do sometimes, as I said before, I'd be playing the lottery. I wouldn't be a lawyer. Let me see. Let me see here. There's somebody, Ryan, that says they received the verification. They received the verification of the first signature, have not received the second email. Oh, I got it. Yeah, that second email will come soon. You got to give us a little time to process them. Because that says ICALEINNS. Sorry, I can't pronounce that. You'll get the second email. Make sure here, I don't want to, again, because I'm not going to be back after I get off here, guys, for tonight. So I want to make sure I try to get them all. Let me see here. Sorry. Yeah, somebody said don't forget to check your other email box. That's very important because see, I don't pretend that now guys, don't laugh at me when I'm talking about technology because Ryan's gonna laugh in the other room. But when we have to send so many emails out to keep you all up to date with what's going on, we have to use some kind of software email stuff. And sometimes your server might flag it as spam, but it's not spam. It's coming from us. It's just we're limited to how many we can send under traditional methods. So it may accidentally shove it into a spam folder or something because we have to use these services to help us send all the emails that we send out. You're limited to 2,400 emails a day. Who would have thought it, right? But so make sure you watch all that other stuff, okay? Somebody says, how long does a TRO last? It lasts until the court says it doesn't last any longer. Again, I can't predict those things either, guys. It could last permanently. It could last a week. It could last a month. It could last 6 months. There's no way I can't answer those questions. Let me make sure here I'm about done. Again, my buddy Mark Clark says there that the local sheriff in Adams County won't enforce, but he's still going to join because, you know, Mark is a freedom fighter and I get that. But I've told you guys before, I'll tell you again, just because your local sheriff won't enforce it doesn't mean a state trooper won't come and enforce it, okay? Because the state police are free to do probably what the governor tells them to do because, you know, they kind of report directly through him, through the director, Mr. Kelly. So your county sheriff is not the only person that you have to be concerned about, okay? When can we expect the TRO as a part of the second group? I believe that comes from Mr. Carpenter. I'm going to ask for it as soon as I can, John. We're going to file this thing tomorrow. And you know me, I'll be working as fast as I possibly can. I can't predict the courts, though, my friend. As I said, if I could predict courts, I'd be predicting the power. I've never bought a lottery ticket in my life, a Powerball. I'd be predicting the Powerball. I wouldn't have to be a lawyer. So I'm going to do everything I can, I assure you. Yeah, Dustin says, can you put the list of shops still able to sell under your TRO? I'd like to do some business. Certainly, Dustin, we'll get those up for you. I think there's 5 of them that was in the first case that can do business. Ryan and I went to, again, I'm not saying this one out of the 5 because of any favorability. I just don't have them memorized. But Accuracy Firearms in Effingham is one of them. But there's 5 total. And Ryan, I'll get him to post those on my on our page so you guys can see who they are and gals can see who they are. Jane says she doesn't want to join the case, just wants to donate. She's certainly free to do that. If you go to the website at DeVore Law Offices, DeVorLawoffices, DeVoreLawOffices.com. There's a link for that, ma'am, and appreciate it, Jane. Like I said, we're going to fight this thing in the state and the federal courts, and any help. Like I said, I'll work on this all the time. I'd be glad to. Voodoo Firearms is one, Tiffany. That's right. Thank you very much. I do remember that name now. 49ers are cowgirls. That's funny, Mark. You're a comedian. Let me make sure. Again, I don't want to miss you guys because I won't be back. Yeah, is that a Mr. Hernandez or Mr. ELS Hernandez, man or woman? I'm not sure. Yeah, there's several videos out here. You can certainly go take a look at those if you'd like to. Make sure I'm about done, guys. Like I said, because once I leave here, I'm going to get to work on these things. Scott Wayne, ultimately go to the Supreme Court to affect the whole state. That's true. Absolutely. We're going to get to the Supreme Court, and we're also, again, the federal courts could impact the whole state too. So we got a lot of legal avenues that we can pursue here, Scott. Okay. Let me see here. I love people like that. How many IRS audits are people going to get that's on the list? You conspiracy theorists, I love them. You're like my dear, beloved friend that I love so much, Miss Janelle Town. Her conspiracy theories always keep me enlightened. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist, guys, but you can have all the conspiracy theories you want. That's okay. What are the big gun lobbyists doing? Jason says. You can go ask them. I don't know what they're doing. Illinois State Rifle Association filed a case in federal court last week. It's a little thin. I think it leaves a lot of things out, but they can do what they want. There's a couple other lobbyist groups that are doing some good work. They haven't filed yet. I've talked to them about what they're doing, and we're all working in the same direction. We may not all be on the same lawsuits together, but we're all headed in the same direction. So they're working on it. No, we're not trying to get rid of the FOID cards right now, Mark. That's a conversation for a later day. We can take a look at that at some time. But right now, I'm just trying to deal with this law that's restricting people's rights to own these semi-automatic weapons. We're not looking at FOID cards. Oh, there, Debbie Lemke put it up there. Thanks, Deb. She lists them up there, the firearms people. I'm going to make sure we're done here, guys, because like I said, I'm going to get to work, and this is my last chance to talk to you guys before it's going to be shut down. So I don't want to do the best I can. If I miss somebody, it's because it's scrolling too fast over here. I can't see. I apologize, but I'm trying to find the questions, okay? Lori Nelson says, I signed up, got my receipt, no signature email yet. Keep checking my email. Yeah, Lori, keep checking your email. I know Ryan's working on that. You working on that, Ryan? I just hollered at him. He's working on it, Lori. If you have any issues with that, you can send me a message, but Ryan's working on it. He's trying to keep up the best he can. He batches them out so many at a time, Lori. After a group comes in, he'll send the signature request. He'll wait a little bit till another group, and then he'll send them out. So you just might not have made it to that group yet, ma'am. Steve says, are you in touch with the other lawyers following the suits? Yes, I'm in touch with some of them. I'm in touch with their groups. Joining forces aren't, you don't necessarily have to be joined together, Steve, to join forces. There's different ways to attack an issue from different directions, and it can be more impactful than all of you coalescing together. You start coming at it like this. And so those conversations are going on with some of us, Steve, okay? Let me see here. Brad says about the registration of firearms. Brad, that registration of firearms doesn't start till January of 2024. So nobody's obligated until then to actually have completed it. So while the TRO is in place, technically, yeah, you don't have to comply with the registry today. But again, even if you're not in this case as a part of the TRO, if you're only talking about the registry, you're not obligated to register until at the latest December 31st, 2023. So today, not having registered is not necessarily a violation yet because the time hasn't come. I hope that makes sense to you, sir. Let me see here. All right, I'm going to just wait another second. Ryan, who's that? Who said that? Cheryl. Ryan, take Cheryl out the case. Just kidding. Cheryl says Ryan needs a raise. Ryan's a hardworking man, Cheryl. Don't laugh in there, Ryan. You're just joking, Cheryl. Obviously, you know what I meant. Cheryl said she loves you. Ryan says he loves you, Cheryl, just so we're aware. Let me make sure. No, Ronnie Quinn, there she is. Somebody says, if I order a banned firearm online and TRO gets overturned, what happens to the firearm? If I could answer the question to that the answer, and it's legitimate answer. Who asked that question? As Pete. It depends, Pete. We can't answer that. I mean, those nuanced issues are very complicated, and so if you're in case number one, get your transactions done and get them taken care of. Okay, so just to hedge against any possible factual scenarios that we can't predict, Pete, get her taken care of, brother. Okay. Brian says, Brian Quinn, does Brian have any idea of what groups he sent out the second email to? I can't answer that question, Brian. I know he's working on them fast. If you've registered and got a registration confirmation in the last couple of hours, then it's possible you didn't get the second email yet. But if you registered prior to that, you probably got that second email already. And again, look in your spam, look in the junk folder and stuff like that to make sure that it's not in there, because you would have got it by now. If you don't have it by now, hold on a second. Ryan's talking. Hold on, guys. Yes, sir?
Let them know that second email doesn't come from me. It comes from the War Offices from a hello sign,
okay,
like a Dropbox app.
Okay. The second email that you get will come from DeVore Law Offices with a hello sign. It's an application, hello sign. So look for DeVore Law Offices hello sign on that second email. And look diligently everywhere. And if you think you've registered and you haven't gotten that second email, let us know, because what'll happen at about after 8 o'clock when we shut this off, any of you that haven't done the second step yet, you're going to start getting an email or two from us saying we don't have the second one from you yet. So just watch that. Like I said, I have no desire whatsoever to leave anybody behind, but we have to make sure that we together work on this together to make sure that we get all of these taken care of. Okay. Because remember the first case that we filed, you guys, we still have individuals who signed up that we sent like 5 or 10 emails to going, please sign. And we never heard back from them again, ever. And it's like, I don't understand, please. And then a couple of them we finally heard from, and we're like, look in your email, and there's 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 emails, and they just never responded to them though. So I can't fix that. I apologize. That's a good question, Dan Keel. Dan Keel asked an excellent question, Daniel. Assuming that the General Assembly fixes these things that we're talking about with the procedural problems, they still have the equal protection problems, Daniel. Like, you can't exclude out all of these people, okay? And say you can keep your rights, but other people can't. Let's say they fix that. You with me? They still have the Second Amendment issues in the federal court that don't address any of that, Daniel. So even if they fix and try to fix, which I think is a tall hurdle for them politically in Illinois, try to fix the issues that we've raised in the state court case, they still got the federal issues that they're going to have to fight with all of us on still. Does that make sense, Daniel? I hope it does. So they're not going to get around this by merely trying to deal with the state issues. You still got the big federal issue. And as I told you guys before, we got all of these, again, figuratively speaking, all of these barrels in our gun that we have to shoot, figuratively speaking, and they can't get rid of all of them. In the state court, they can only deal with part of them. It still leaves the federal issue that I don't think they'll ever overcome the federal issue, you guys. Shut my boy Chuck. The General Assembly will never fix the procedural problems. I've been watching it for years. I tend to agree with you, Chuck, but they're going to have to try to fix them if we're successful in these arguments, because they're impacting the rights of the people of this state more than just the weapons. They've been doing this stuff this decades, Chuck. You know that. They've been doing this nonsense for decades. We got to hold them to it and make them quit doing it. Cindy says, if we get an unconstitutional on these procedural stuff, will the other laws they pass the same way fall? The answer is, Cindy, not directly, no, because you have to actually attack those individual laws specifically, if that makes sense to you, Cindy. No, there's no such thing, Clinton, as a monetary award in these types of issues. It doesn't work that way, brother. Sorry, it's, you're fighting to defend your rights. I've had a lot of people message me, Tom, why should we have to pay and fight to defend our rights? And I'm like, that's life, right? I mean, at least you have the ability to defend your rights in a court of law, because countries that have been run by tyrants in our world's history never had any opportunity to defend themselves. So, yeah, that's just the answer. It's a reality, guys. I'm never going to sugarcoat it for you. How many plaintiffs so far in the second case? Ron says, I'm going to give that away, Ron. I'm going to let the governor hang in suspense, and he'll find out tomorrow when we file this thing. But I'm really pleased with the support, because, again, we're going to take and we're going to go off into the federal court, and we're going to get the governor's attention in a bigger way than we've already got it. So. Oh, there's my friend Kristen. Kristen's been on internet all day going, watch your emails, because Kristen, we're right on top of it, and she was making sure that when she signed up that it worked out really well. So yeah, she knows what's going on. JP Pancakes. Jonathan Pratt says, how can we donate? I mean, if you want to, it's up to you. I'm not asking, but if you go to our website at DeVoreLawOffices.com, there's a way that you can contribute to this overall cause, whether you're a party to it or not. I've had a lot of people that just weren't comfortable with being a party to the case, and I can respect that. And they were donating, just generally speaking, which is fine. They can certainly do that if they want to. You guys are talking about some other issues of, sex ed and all that kind of stuff. I mean, this is specific to the gun issues, but those other legal issues, we'll talk about those at a later date. If there's arguments that I think are legitimate that can be made and people want to make them, we can certainly talk about that. But really what you guys are doing right now is hiring a lawyer to defend your rights that the Attorney General of the state of Illinois should be defending for you. I mean, that's really his job, is to defend you. He's not defending you. He's defending the governor. And again, he has to answer to you on why he's doing that. I can't answer it for him. Yeah, I get the question a lot where it says date completed on the application. That's just the date that you're filling it out today, right? If you put a different date in it, like somebody said they put another date tomorrow or the next day, it's not going to affect anything. It'll be fine. But yeah, the date completed is just the date that you're being asked to fill this out today, yesterday. But if you put a date in it that was your FOID issuance date or tomorrow or the next day, it'll be okay, guys, okay? What could happen to JB when it gets overturned in the federal court? Nothing happens to JB when it gets overturned in the federal court. I mean, nothing happens to him. You know, governors like JB Pritzker, I mean, he's probably the worst governor of my lifetime, but they pass unconstitutional stuff and we have to go fight for ourselves, especially when we don't have an attorney general to fight for us. So nothing's going to happen to him. The people of the state of Illinois elected him, overwhelmingly elected the man as governor. So they get what they asked for. I mean, I know it might not have been you guys, but, you know, millions of our fellow citizens of the state of Illinois elected that tyrant into office because he has a lot of money and he painted a message that he wanted to paint. So that's just life, you guys. No, you can't. You guys are getting me off on the deep end because I love you and I want to talk to you, but the impeachment process in the state of Illinois for a governor is impossible hurdle. I mean, the impeachment articles in our Constitution for impeaching a governor, procedurally, it's impossible. You can't get the support out of the General Assembly that you need because it has to be bipartisan from Democrats and Republicans to even start the impeachment process in Illinois before you even get signatures from citizens. You're never going to get that from Democrats. The Democrats in the legislature are never going to support the impeachment of Governor Pritzker. So the answer is that's no, and it's not worth spending any energy on. Let me see here. I think that's about it. Yeah, Brian Quinn said the same thing. The recall petition. Do not waste your time on recall petitions, getting signatures to impeach Governor Pritzker. Don't waste your time. Spend it on something else because you've got to get the bipartisan support of the General Assembly before you can ever start that process. Okay. So I would rather you spend your energy on something that could be a lot more productive about how to win elections in Illinois versus on getting signatures for something that mean absolutely nothing, guys. Okay. Hold on a second. Dave asked a cool question. Who do they get the first email from, Ryan? You in there, Cunningham?
The only one they need to worry about is the signature verification.
Okay.
That's the most important email, signature verification.
He just asked, does it come from the same account?
It comes from info. It comes from info to the world offices.
The first one?
Just to let them know that what's coming, and then they'll get the signature verification when I process it.
Okay.
But it's automated.
Yeah, they're from DeVore Law Offices, Dave, but they may look a little bit different when they come through, okay? Brandon Wise says, is the same as the first suit or different? It's fundamentally similar in nature. You know, we're going to add a little bit new stuff to it because of some of the stuff that was accomplished in the first case, but at least in the state court case, it's going to look similar. So let's get filed tomorrow, Seth says. The answer is yes. Ron Lemke, take him out of the case too, Ryan. He's trying to second your raise. All right, that's cool, Ron. First office key. Okay. We ain't talking about conspiracy theory stuff in this, Janelle. I love you. I ain't talking about no conspiracy theories. All right, that's about it, guys. I think that's all we've got. We're going to get this thing put together 8 o'clock tonight. I'm going to end there 8 o'clock tonight. If you're not signed up by 8 o'clock and it completed the first step, it's over, closed. Sorry, got to cut it off. And then you're going to have 4 hours to get everything else completed so we can get this baby on file tomorrow, because I want to get it on file for you guys as fast as I can. Okay. Have a good night. I love you. I'm going to get to work.